Welcome to this segment of Best of America by Horseback. I'm Tom C.
And I'm Dale Shields.
This week we're going to take you to another beautiful location where you can come ride and visit. We're atop Cadillac Mountain right here in Acadia National Park.
Highest point of elevation on the East Coast. The sun touches here first in the mornings.
We're going to show you some of the most beautiful and best groomed carriage and horse trails in America. We have a lot of friends that are going to ride with us. We're going to show folks this is a great place to come to with your horse or just to come ride in the carriages that they have here.
We want you to stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Part of this show is brought to you by Mill Creek Manufacturing, makers of the first compact and stainless steel manure spreaders. They also make spin groomer arena rakes and now a new line of outdoor power equipment like the Mighty Ox log splitters and wood chippers. All top quality, high value equipment, all made in the USA. And by Spurs Big Fix, wound, skin, and hoof treatment. The more you use it, the more you'll love it. The Dude Ranchers Association is celebrating 90 years promoting all-inclusive quality Western adventure vacations. With over 100 ranches west of the Mississippi offering activities like horseback riding, skeet shooting, whitewater rafting, fly fishing, and great children's programs, you are sure to find the perfect location for family reunions, girlfriend getaways, or that vacation of a lifetime. Dude Ranch Association ranches adhere to the highest industry standards. We are all about quality. On this show, Tom and Dell will take you on a carriage ride from Wildwood Stables through the beautiful Acadia National Park on Mount Desert Island off the coast of Maine. They will ride with friends and take viewers on the bridge tour, which will show off several of the 17 unique stone-faced bridges along miles of historic carriage roads built by horse enthusiast John D. Rockefeller, Jr. Rockefeller, a skilled horseman, wanted to travel on motor-free byways by horse and carriage into the heart of Mount Desert Island. So he designed, built, and gifted the carriage road system to the park. His construction efforts from 1913 through 1940 resulted in carriage roads with sweeping vistas and close-up views of island landscape.
Now, where are you going to take us today?
Today we're going to go on a bridge tour. We'll go for a little while around the base of Day Mountain, and then we're going to go over to the Rockefeller's private estate and go on the bridle paths out there. And we'll see a couple bridges that Rockefeller built, and then we'll get back on the park roads and head back to the stables.
The trail system here throughout the park is how extensive?
About 57 miles of carriage roads. About 13 of those miles are on the Rockefeller's private estate, so they're not technically parkland, but again, they're open to the public year-round. And there's a few sections in the park roads where you cannot ride or drive a horse. That's mostly around Eagle Lake. That's about a 5-mile loop. And then, of course, there's the exception here on the Rockefeller property. You can ride a horse, but you can't ride a bike. So there's 57 miles, but not all 57 are open to everyone. But there's certainly plenty. You can't see all the park in one day.
What are we approaching now?
This is the Jordan Pond Road Bridge. It's the first Rockefeller bridge we'll see today. It was finished in 1932, and it was built where there was already an existing road and bridge, so it was kind of a tricky job. I believe this bridge took about a year to construct, and it employed people during the Great Depression. I always like to point out, when I see this bridge, I like to point out these stone walls on both sides. You see, Rockefeller wanted everything in the park to blend in real well. He didn't want the bridges to stick out like a sore thumb. But yeah, he liked to do things like put walls up to the bridge. It's like a painting, you have the leading lines guiding you up to the focal point, which is the bridge. And he tried to use local stone so the colors all blended in well naturally. Again, not sticking out, not taking your eyes away from what Rockefeller thought was the true artwork, which was the scenery and the landscape.
So this is much more than just a bridge. This really is artwork.
It really is. All the bridges are a piece of art here. I think if you come to Acadia, you should try to see all the bridges. They're all very unique and they're all beautiful. And now if you look at the stones in this bridge, you know, they're all different sizes, different shapes, and a lot of them look like something you just find sitting out in a field. There are some that are square cut, some that are rectangular, but it all fits together like a puzzle, and it's very beautiful. I'm happy he built it this way as opposed to, you know, just making them all uniform and cookie cutters. He had very good taste. When they built this bridge, they used a wooden frame first, and then they went ahead and filled it in with steel reinforced concrete, and then they did the granite facing. So it's quite sturdy. We have horse trailers, trucks, buses, cars pass over this bridge every day, and it's been that way since 1932, and she's held up pretty well over the years.
Rockefeller used large blocks of granite lining the carriage roads to serve as guardrails. Cut roughly and spaced irregularly, these stones, known as coping stones, retain the rustic appearance that Rockefeller liked and became affectionately known as Rockefeller's teeth. It was John D. Rockefeller Jr.'s vision and attention to detail that resulted in this state-of-the-art system of roads and bridges that blend harmoniously with the landscape of the island.
What's your favorite trail?
Little Long Pond, definitely, by far.
For people listening, what is Little Long Pond?
It's a loop around a pond that's actually on the Rockefeller estate, but it's open to the public for pedestrian and equestrian use. And I think it's probably the most beautiful place in the park.
David Rockefeller, now in his late 90s, is the youngest son and only surviving child of John D. Rockefeller Jr. He still drives the carriage roads constructed by his father.
David Rockefeller does still summer here. He's in his late 90s, and he's a great guy. I saw him last summer driving his own horses on the carriage roads, and that's pretty inspiring to see someone who's almost 100 still up here holding the lines, because it takes a bit of strength to be up there. And he summers in Seal Harbor, and there's a bunch of other relatives that come here. They just love the area. They love to ride and to drive on the trails. And they're really nice, humble people. They don't go around saying, hey, look, I'm a Rockefeller. They're just really great people. Do a lot for the community.
People associate the name Rockefeller with Acadia National Park more than any other, but it is actually Charles Elliott and George Dorr who are accredited with the creation of Acadia National Park. Charles Elliott, longtime president of Harvard University and summer resident of Mount Desert Island, solicited the wealthy summer community of the island to donate and set aside land for free public use. It was George B. Dorr who followed through with the motion of preserving this land for future generations by spending most of his adult life bringing the park into being and caring for the park. In 1916, largely through Dorr's persistence, President Woodrow Wilson signed off on making this land a national monument. Then in 1919, Congress voted to make it a national park.
He was a wealthy Bostonian that came from the textile industry, and he too was very passionate about this area. He started out as a summer resident, and he ended up as the first superintendent of the park, and he died here. I've been told that he gave so much to the park that his attorney had to force him to set aside enough money so he could be buried properly, because he just wanted to donate everything.
Stay tuned, there's a whole lot more to come on Best of America by Horseback here at Acadia Park in Bar Harbor.
If you are interested in learning more about Best of America by Horseback, visit our website at bestofamericabyhorseback.com. There you can view our show schedule on RFD-TV, learn how to join us for upcoming rides and events, benefits of our trail club and how to join, find riding locations and dude ranches by state, shop the online store for Best of America by Horseback logo gear, Read our monthly newsletter to stay up to date and learn about our sponsors and their quality products. It's all here at bestofamericabyhorseback.com.
We're seeing, of course, from the horse point of view and the equine point of view, but there's so many other things to see here on the island.
Yes.
For people that are watching this show for the very first time, and they haven't seen anything else, we're on an island connected with a bridge.
Yes.
And what can be seen here? There's a few restaurants around.
Oh gosh, there is so much to see. I've lived here my whole life and I don't think I've seen it all. You can do like whale watching, puffin tours, kayaking, rock climbing. There's a lot of history here on the island. You can do like tours of Bar Harbor. There's the Park Loop Road, which has a ton of different things on it to do. You know, you can go down to Thunder Hole on a stormy day and see the waves crash up, and it makes this great big boom when the water hits this little like kind of cave. There's Sand Beach. There's a million places to see. Hiking, biking.
We were in town yesterday evening, and in the park, there was a band playing.
Oh yeah, they do that all summer.
And there were hundreds of people there. But what was most striking to me is, first of all, I didn't see any police officers. Children, people of all ages from everywhere walking the streets. Pleasant evening. And when you close your eyes, you hear just laughter. You don't see that too much in New York or Washington, D.C. or some of these other places. And it's almost, you can't say crime-free, but it's an environment that I want to bring my grandchildren up here.
Another thing to see while visiting Acadia National Park is Cadillac Mountain. At 1,530 feet, Cadillac Mountain is the tallest mountain on the eastern seaboard, and during most of the year, the sunrise touches here first. There is a narrow, winding road providing vehicle access to the summit, where early risers can catch the day's first rays of light, or enjoy magnificent views of Bar Harbor, the Porcupine Islands, and Frenchman Bay. Visitors can explore the summit along a hiking trail, which includes wayside exhibits about nature and history of the island.
Someday you'll be sitting on a porch and the little kid's going to walk up to you and say, "You were there at the Rockefeller estate and you were there at Acadia. What's your fondest memory? Was there a ride? Was there a kid? Was there..."
My fondest memory. Oh gosh, I mean I have a lot of them. It's a really cool place to work. Some of the best rides I've had have been with the wheelchair accessible carriage that we have at the stables. It was donated by Friends of Acadia in 1998. So we can accommodate just about anyone who wants to come for a carriage ride. And it's amazing to take people out on the carriage roads up to the top of Day Mountain. I took a family out last week, and the father was just beaming because normally he said that he'd set stuff up for his family to do on vacation, and then he would just sit there and wait. And he was so happy to actually be able to do something with his family and participate. So I'd say those are some of the best rides, when you feel like you did more than just, gave someone an entertaining afternoon, you gave them a really memorable time. So this is the Stanley Brook Bridge, and this was the final one completed by Rockefeller in the carriage road system, finished in 1933. And I'm not an engineer, but I've been told by people who are engineers that this is a really tricky bridge to build because of the way it curves around the landscape. Whoa, there, boys. Now you may notice that the horses are now parked in shade underneath this tree. And I like to thank a woman named Beatrix Ferrand for that. She was a world-renowned landscape architect that Rockefeller hired to restore the landscape here once they had finished building a section of roads. Because road building does tear up the scenery. So she'd plant all kinds of native species like trees and ferns and blueberry bushes. And she put a tree on the corner of each bridge here, ooh boys, just to help shade horses on a hot day like this. And there's actually a weeping cup next to each tree, so the condensation from the bridge will run off the weeping cup and water the tree even if it's dry. So they really put a lot of forethought into this thing. Here, that's better, boys. So now we are actually leaving the park and entering the Rockefeller estate. And there's our date stone, 1933. All of the Rockefeller bridges except the one at Eagle Lake have a date stone just denoting when it was finished.
Kimmery, for people that have never ridden or driven on these carriage roads here at Bar Harbor, what is the etiquette for bicyclists, hikers, to work around the horses and carriages?
Well, technically, if you read all the signs, it says everyone yields to horses. But everyone's interpretation of yield is a bit different. Some people think it's blazing by you 30 miles an hour, and some people think it's stopping and waiting. We prefer that you either stop and wait or just ask. If you're not sure what to do, don't be shy, just ask the rider or the driver, you know, should I get off on the side of the road? Can I pass you? Because with some horses like here at Wildwood Stables, our horses are all well trained, they don't mind a bike going past them. But most people don't know the difference between our horses and someone else's. So we just prefer that at the very least you ask or just stop and wait.
Hi.
Hello, thank you very much for waiting. And whenever I do see a biker that stops and does proper etiquette, I make a big point to go out of my way and thank them, just because it's nice to encourage that kind of habit. Again, the best way to avoid trouble out here is to just be patient and not be in a rush.
See what you mean about going slow and relaxing. You don't want to go through this path. You want to really
No, I mean, the whole point of these roads was to take a step back in time and enjoy actually seeing the scenery and becoming intimate with nature, because when you're going to work in your car, everything's a green blur out the window. You don't see this stuff. So I don't see the purpose that some of your horses have poke out through here, because you want to look around.
So you ride horses as well.
Yes, sir.
What was it like when you made a transition or an addition to driving as well as riding?
You know, I wasn't sure what to expect. I thought that I'd like it, but I didn't think I'd like it as much as riding. But I'm just as passionate about driving. I adore it, and I plan to incorporate it for the rest of my life. Easy, boys.
I've seen a lot of Teamsters that are loud and yelling and so forth. Your voice is hardly above a whisper when you're talking to the boys, and they hear you. So the yelling isn't important.
No, sir. Not at all. They can hear me scooping a scoop of oats in the grain room 20 feet away. They can hear me talk to them when I'm right behind them. There's just no point in raising your voice. You know, if you can't convince them with a whisper, you're probably not going to convince them with a yell.
Do you do marital counseling? Being this far north, what's your favorite time of the year?
I love all 4 seasons here, but I have to say fall is probably my favorite. The air is very crisp, and the foliage is beautiful. It's a great place to take horseback ride out here.
What the public doesn't see is probably the neatest part of all this, the incredible care. Tell me about it.
Well, I'll tell you in numbers. The horses work a maximum of 4 hours a day, and we work an average of 14 hours a day. So we definitely wait on them hand and foot. Everything with the horses comes first before us. That's my boss's main goal, is safety and the care of the horses.
Now they bring them in together. They don't harness outside.
Right. Yep, they're all hooked in these standing stalls and they stay together. They're pretty much inseparable.
And they have their same stall every time. They know exactly where they're going.
Yes.
These horses don't act like this is work for them.
It's really not. A lot of them come from Amish country, places like that, and they'll work from sun up to sundown. And again, here they only work 4 hours a day, tops.
Yeah. You can watch them outside and they act like they're proud of what they do.
I think they are. Some of the older teams, when you try to retire them, you can't retire them. You have to kind of ease them into it because they don't like not having a job.
Visitors are welcome to go on the carriage rides offered by Wildwood Stables, or you can bring your own horses and ride through the park. Wildwood Stables offers stall rentals, and they have a small campground with primitive camping. All visitors bringing equine must have the proper health papers and proof of vaccinations before horses can be unloaded. Please check directly with Wildwood Stables for their vaccination and health paper requirements. Advanced stall and camping reservations are also required. You can contact Wildwood Stables at 877-276-3622 or log on to carriagesofacadia.com.
I'm Steve Tucker. I'm the founder and president of Tucker Trail Saddles. We listen to our customers, we leverage the experience and craftsmanship of our team, and we embrace the goal to produce the most comfortable and functional trail saddle in the world. And we believe that we are offering with the new Horizon the absolute best and most comfortable trail riding saddle available today.
I've ridden thousands of miles all over this country. The saddle I choose is a Tucker saddle.
Back at the event venue, East Fork Stables. Have you ever been to Racking on the Edge? The Highlands and the dream business. Air-conditioned ridge-top horse trails. Out your back door. Tennessee. 4 beautiful seasons. A short, often warm winter. No state income tax. Low property taxes. The Highlands or White Oak. Enough said. Thanks.